I'm officially quitting Airbnb in the Poconos and selling my property. Let's talk about it. So I made a decision with my wife to officially get out of the Airbnb business in the Poconos, and there's really 5 big reasons. The 5th reason is the biggest of all of them. I'm just gonna run through them all with you because it was a difficult decision. This is something that we have been doing since October of 2021. So again, pretty big decision to get out of it. And there were a lot of factors leading up to this that contributed to it, but I can really break it down to 5 main reasons why we're getting out of the business. And the first one is that it is tough. This business is really tough. And unless you run it on a fuller time basis, you're not going to do well. Now, I will say this. People have been contacting me for years now after I got into the business because I'm a licensed real estate agent and I helped people buy up there, talk to a lot of people about buying up there. And they had this perception, right? Like it was going to be easy. All you have to do is buy a property that's in decent shape and throw it on Airbnb, throw it on Vrbo, and it's just going to do really well. Those days are gone. Those days are way gone. Like you could have done that in 2020 and 2021, but when things started to really get difficult in, towards the end of 2022, and then especially in 23 and last year, that mindset is absolute garbage. Do not get into the Airbnb business thinking that it's going to be easy. Now, I've actually been saying this for a long time, but now I'm really telling you, right? Because I wasn't successful at it. And it's because I didn't do it on a fuller time basis, And what I mean by that, like, I'm not saying full time. I'm not saying you have to do this 40 hours a week, 8 hours a day. Like, I'm saying a fuller time basis. And I self-managed, okay? So with self-managing, you do everything yourself. Now, if you turn it over to a property manager, you still have to manage the property manager, right? So you're not fully out of the weeds. You still have to do things on a daily basis, in my opinion. Now, if you really want to be successful, again, you have to do it on a fuller time basis. Every day, you have to be going in and tweaking things, tweaking the listing price, tweaking the listing description, making sure that you're posting the property to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, making sure that you're staying in touch with past guests and offering them discounts on another, things like that. It is a business, okay? You have to treat it like a business. And I did to a certain degree, but I didn't do it enough to be successful. So unless you're going to be able to commit a significant amount of time, maybe even just up front for a year or 2 years or something like that. But I don't know. I think that it's really something that you have to do on a very consistent basis, and my mind is all over the place. Again, I'm a real estate investor, but I'm also a full-time realtor. So I'm always helping people buy and sell. And it's hard to have that, property manager hat on, and then the realtor hat on, and then the dad hat on, and the business owner hat on, right? And the husband hat on. It's just a lot, And that's why this is one of the biggest contributing factors to me getting out of the business. The second big reason is this. So unless your home is updated, you really don't stand a chance. Now, I wish I could go back in time to when we bought it. I wish we had more finances at that time to update our home to where it needs to be. But look, I bought it at a time where you didn't really need updated kitchens, updated bathrooms, and all that great stuff, and all these amazing amenities to do well, because the Poconos was booming, just like other areas. So we were able to just furnish it, add some nice personal touches to it, add nice touches over the years that the guests are going to want. And we were able to do pretty well, but we didn't fully maximize it. And now in 2025 and moving forward, I see that the homes that are doing really well are the ones that are updated. So if you don't update it up front and you need finances, you need funds to do that as you go, and you don't have those funds, you're not going to do well. And I'm seeing this all the time because in the Poconos, there are a lot of homes that are very similar. It's a similar style, very similar layout, very, very similar amenities. And unless your home is updated, and I'm talking kitchens, bathrooms, paint, carpet, floorings, all that stuff, unless you have that, you're not going to stand out. You're simply not going to book as much as the homes that do have that. Now, again, I wish I could go back in time and update it, when we bought it, but we just couldn't, right? We didn't have the finances at that time to do it. We don't have them now. And it's like, even if I could, and I could get the money to do it, you're putting in a pretty significant amount of money. And how long is it going to actually take to recoup that? Is it going to take a year or 2 years? The values in the Poconos, I believe, have reached a peak, right? So how much value are you actually adding to the property by making these updates? There's a lot of factors to consider, but that's like the second biggest one, is the fact that it's not as updated as I wish it would be. And to go back and do that, or to do that right now and get it to a point to where I know it needs to be, there's a pretty decent chunk of change I would have to put into that. And I don't think from a financial standpoint and from an investment standpoint, it makes sense for us. The third big reason is I feel that it's a race to the bottom with pricing. It is a race to the bottom with pricing, again, unless you have some kind of really unique home that stands out, that a lot of people are attracted to, that people want to, put up all this money to go stay there for a weekend or extended weekend or a week at a time. It's a race to the bottom. Again, there's a lot of properties in the Poconos that offer the same thing, right? They just offer the same thing. And I'm not coming out and trying to, rail against owners or say you're all basic, you're all similar. I'm one of them, right? Every property, for the most part, offers the same thing. So when there is an overabundance of supply, right, and the demand isn't there anymore, not as much as it was, it's not even close. And it could potentially get back there, but a lot of people that I've spoken to who have owned properties in the Poconos for a long time, they know what the demand was prior to COVID. They know what the demand was during COVID, and now after COVID. They say that it's going back to pre-COVID, right? But now, think about this. Going back to pre-COVID for demand, but the supply is 2, 3, 4 times as much now. So you have an overabundance of supply. So what does that mean? That means that you're chasing pricing down. It's a race to the bottom in pricing. And it's like that for all of the Poconos and for the vast majority of homes that are available as short-term rentals. And I'm seeing that, and I've seen that over the past year. And it's like, unless you, again, have the money and the finance to make the home really, really nice, decor-wise, amenity-wise, all those big ticket items-wise, it's a race to the bottom in price. The fourth reason why I'm getting out is because HOAs suck, okay? HOAs suck. Now, I've made videos about this before, and I've actually never owned a home in an HOA, so I didn't really know what I was getting into. Now, my HOA in Talmenting Trails, yeah, I guess for the most part, it's been okay, but it sucks, right? Because you're limited to what you can do, and you're still at the mercy of that HOA, where they can rule in or vote in board of directors who have an agenda and take away short-term rental investing. That can always happen anywhere, not just the Poconos, but anywhere in the US if you own a property in an HOA. And let me tell you, the fees that come along with it suck. And I'm actually going to show you right now the fees that my property has for 2025 that I've already had to pay, and this is a pain in the ass. So I have the paperwork here, right? I'm not going to show you the actual paperwork. I'm just going to read off some numbers for you. So we own a house on a 0.51 acre lot, so a half acre lot, and then we own the half acre lot right next door, so it's a little bit over an acre. For the house, $1,195 for 2025 for the fees, okay? We have our normal HOA fee of $390. We have a special assessment for a trash fee for $95. Then we have a road maintenance special assessment for $110. And then we have our special assessment for the renter fee, which is $600. That's just for the HOA. Now for the township, it's an additional $250, okay? So $250 plus $1,200, that's $1,450. And then this is just for the lot. We have to pay $500. So we're talking $2,000 right away, right off the bat, just starting 2025, just the cost to operate the business, $2,000. So for our lot, we have to pay the road maintenance of $110 and then $390 for the HOA fee. That's pretty crazy, right? So HOAs suck, man. I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I'm over it. I'm over the people that are against short-term rentals, over just all the conflict that there always is back and forth, and the fact that, again, anything can change just like that. You know, it only takes people with an agenda to get voted into power to change things, and I'm done with it. And then lastly, number 5, and this is the most important thing for myself and for my family, is that my goals have changed, right? So the thought of building a short-term rental, portfolio, empire, whatever you want to call it, there was a time where I wanted like 5 to 10 of them because this and that, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't want that anymore, right? And as you get older, and hopefully you get a little bit wiser in your life, your goals start to change, right? And I used to be, for years and years and years, real estate is everything. Owning real estate is the most important thing. I gotta get 2,500,000 units, right? That was my thought process for a long time. But as I'm getting older and I'm starting to become a little bit wiser, and I'm not saying anything negative about real estate investing is still a part of my life. I still have long-term rentals, and I will continue to buy single-family long-term rentals just around where I live here in the Philly suburbs. But I'm no longer interested in building this huge rental portfolio, right? My goals have changed. I'm really trying to focus on creating a lifestyle of freedom and choice, right? And if you have this short-term rental business, say you have 5 or 10 properties, that's a lot of work. You're essentially buying a full-time job. And I already have a full-time job. I'm a full-time realtor. I don't need another full-time job, right? So I'm really condensing down in my life to not get out of real estate investing completely, but I'm looking at investing more in the stock market. Again, buying long-term rentals, single-family long-term rentals in the Philly suburbs, and then really building my real estate business to a point where I can eventually sell it, right? So my goals have changed, and I'm narrowing my focus, and I'm no longer looking for anything that's essentially another full-time job. With all that being said, I do believe that you can be successful investing in real estate, and you can be successful investing in short-term rentals, even in the Poconos. You just have to go into it with the right mindset. You have to have the right tools, you have to have the right people in place, and you have to understand it's not freaking easy. It is not easy, and I want to get that across to you because so many people contact me just like, oh, this seems like, again, this is such an easy thing to do. I just want to, buy this property and make tons of money. It does not work that way. I still have a lot of connections in the Poconos. So if you are looking, you want me to connect you with a great agent that can help you, then make sure that you reach out. Also, if you're thinking about selling your property, I'm telling you, now is a really good time. I believe the values have peaked, right? We might not see this dramatic drop off, but the values have really peaked. So if you're in the position where you want to sell your home, you want to get out of the business as well, I can help you accomplish that. So reach out below by clicking that link. Look forward to speaking with you soon.